Hello, and welcome to Step Outside. I'm your host, Pete Curé, and today we're here at my home in Clarkdale to talk about sustainability. First up, terracing. What is it, and what can it do to your yard to help save water? And we'll talk to an expert in sustainability and get her tips on saving Mother Earth. Plus, we take a trip to Tucson Botanical Gardens to see their sustainability efforts. That's all coming up on Step Outside. First off, let's talk about the word sustainability. What does that really mean? To me, it's a whole lifestyle attitude. It's not just putting your recyclables in the recycle bin. It's not going to the store and buying the latest trendy, sustainable thing. It's living your life that way. It's growing your own food. If you've looked at the news articles lately in the TV, food prices are going up 25%. They're not going to get any better. We actually don't buy any produce here in the summertime. We live off the land, and that stretches further out as we freeze and can things. Like my fruit orchard here that we have growing, we get a lot of fruit off of this. Now, terracing is one of those items that helps in sustainability. What we did here, because my property has a lot of slope and the water just runs down the hill, we leveled this off into 4 different levels, terraced it using some old railroad ties, built up level beds in between, and planted these trees here. And as it rains, it slows down the water that helps infiltrate into the ground, so the trees actually get more rainwater than they would if they were just planted here without the terracing. We're very organic here, and that's another thing that's really a sustainable attitude towards life. We don't use any fertilizers, we don't use any chemicals, but we do try to sustain for our own lifestyle. Now let me show you some other examples of terracing to help you save water on your property. Now this is another example of what we did terracing on the property. Here we had a pretty big grade change to make up. The upper level off the main lawn area of the house is over 5 feet, and we wanted to make this up in a short distance. So we built these rock walls out of large rocks and small boulders, which we mortared into place, and we've got 3 different levels going on here. The upper level lawn, the second level, which is primarily roses, and the third level where we've planted both roses and a lot of other different shrubs. But this really helps to, again, slow down the water and retain it in each different level as it rains and the water wants to go downhill. Now, let me show you an example that you can do in your own yard if you don't have a lot of grade change to deal with. So this is an area where we didn't have a lot of slope to have to deal with. We only had about 3 feet, but this was just a sloped area, and the water rained through here and gave us a lot of erosion problems. What we did is went to a local landscape supply store and bought these rocks. They're like 6 to 12 inches, and we just dry stacked them. They're not mortared in, and started at the bottom terrace and worked our way up. And I created like 5 or 6 different levels in here, which gave me a great spot. Put some good mulch and soil in here to get color. I've got annuals and perennials in here and some grasses, and so it's a really nice, interesting part of the garden. Now you may think that your yard doesn't have any slope to it, but I pretty much guarantee you there's not a yard in Arizona that doesn't have some slope. Just go out there after a big rain and see where all the water settles. If it's in the back corner of your lot, you've got some slope. It may look flat, so you may want to just terrace that into 2 parts, again, to slow the water down and to keep it on your property. Now, there are a lot of different materials that you can use for terracing. There's timbers, preferably railroad ties because they're treated, but they do sell treated timbers. Regular wood would rot after time, but it would probably last several years. There's boulders or rocks that you can use. There are also pre-manufactured concrete blocks that are made to do as a dry stack retaining wall, so you can stack them as 1 level, 6 inches high, 8 inches high, all the way up to almost 3 feet high, and get different levels throughout your whole yard to create some interest and create some nice planting areas, and to retain the moisture on your property that falls on it, so you benefit from that water in your own garden. Joining me now is Linda Zanoli with the Verde NRCD. What does NRCD stand for, Linda?
The NRCD stands for the Natural Resource Conservation District. We are part of the Arizona State Land Department, and actually the Ed Center is a non-profit spur of the NRCD.
So what do you guys actually do?
Oh, we have fun with kids. We go into classrooms and we teach the children about sustainable water and sustainable ag.
So why is it important to teach kids about sustainability?
Sustainability is important to teach our children because they are going to be our future water managers. So they need to understand that all of our water in our homes in Arizona comes from groundwater. So we talk to them first about the minute amount of groundwater that there actually is on Earth. And then we take them to the next step of the connection between groundwater and surface water and how that impacts our environment that we all live in.
So what methods do you use to teach them?
We use a lot of STEM, which is a process of science, technology, engineering, and math. We also use the inquiry method, which is basically hands-on. The kids get to understand because they are invested in it. Sometimes they're even making water management decisions once they get up to the 8th grade.
Now I understand you brought a couple of boards with you today. What are those about?
I did. Thank you for asking about that. We sponsor for the first time this year, in cooperation with the NAU Watershed and Education Department, a challenge to all of the Verde Valley schools to build a web of the environment surrounding the Verde River. And so we just got done judging. We have a high school winner and a junior high winner, and each of the classes will get a trip down the Verde River.
Now, give our viewers some idea what are maybe 3 quick, easy tips for parents to get their kids interested in sustainability.
The first thing I thought of is to sit down and eat dinner with your kids. First of all, that is going to save water because eating at home is much more energy efficient than going out to a restaurant. Second of all, it's going to provide a platform to talk about where your food comes from, which a lot of children don't understand. They think it comes from the grocery store. And so they need to understand where their food comes from. And my third tip would be to take them somewhere. To take them to a farm, to take them to a river, to take them to a preserve, so that they understand how water and the use of water impacts our natural environment.
Get them away from the TV and get them into reality, huh?
There you go.
Well, we really appreciate you coming and talking with us today, Linda. It's been great.
Fun.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Coming up on Step Outside, we show you how harvesting rainwater can save you a ton on your water bill. Plus, a trip to the Tucson Botanical Gardens.